Going on YouTube, Cloverbells here, back with another Scarlet Violet video, and today we're going to be continuing our Regulation H content because the World Championships are done. No more Regulation G content for the next 4 months. We'll pick that up back in January 2025, of course. But in the meantime, we've got 4 months of this format, and we've already been doing a ton of videos throughout August, for Regulation H content, and that's going to continue even now. And the next Pokemon I want to spotlight here is Sinistcha. Remember this thing? People got really excited when this thing was announced and released, and it got to see a good amount of play in a few previous regulations ago, if I worded that correctly. But with the paradoxes and all the legendaries coming back, this thing got no more play anymore. For good reason. There's so much Chi-Yu, there was so much Chen-Pao, Flutter Mane, and again, all those dark and fire types. They just made Sinistcha's life a little bit difficult for that matter. But when put on the right team, it can actually do really, really well. The most common thing to really pair with Sinistcha in previous formats was something like a Galarian Moltres, right? Because again, Galarian Moltres with that Berserk ability, when the health dipped, you got to trigger, a nice little special attack boost. But there is no Galarian Moltres because that thing is banned. The other option that you can consider is to pair it with something like a Como, which can work and has worked in previous formats as well. And this is another good combination. So stay tuned for this. I want to save this build specifically, when I talk a little bit more about Como. So, we'll do a little bit of preview in the later timestamp of the video, but I want to focus on 2 different teams right now besides the Como idea, but this can work as well, just pointing it out there. But, right now the consensus from what we've seen from the early tournament results is that the best way to really utilize this is on either a Maushold Annihilape squad or something like Pelipper or Keladin, or some combination of both, okay? So what I mean by this is, again, you're going to have Pelipper or Keladin, the standard tried and true, and instead of Amoongus, the Sinistcha will fulfill that Amoongus role, right? And before I even talk about Pelipper or Keladin and some of the other teams that Sinistcha can fit on, you have to compare this thing with something like an Amoongus, right? Because you're competing with that slot, and they're 2 very different Pokemon but still have some similarities between the 2. Okay, obviously they both have Rage Powder, right? So this is your grass redirector, and they're both relatively bulky. Amoongus base 114 HP, 70 defense, 80 special defense, pretty solid overall. And then the Sinistcha, again, 106 defense, so it's got a lot more defense than Amoongus. The special defense is about the same, a little bit lower HP, but again, you're comparing HP versus defense, between the 2 at this point, right? Obviously, Amoongus really good in Trick Room because base speed 30. When they do click Trick Room on you, you get to have Spore. The Mushroom becomes the fastest thing, obviously. Sinistcha, base speed 70, but this thing sets Trick Room, right? And that's another advantage that you can use for your squad if you're running like mid-tier speed Pokemon, where you can set Trick Room for yourself or even flip Trick Room against the opponent, right? So that's another thing you consider. They both have healing capabilities. Obviously, this is coming from Pollen Puff. From the Amoongus, you get to heal your ally. You get to heal yourself with Regenerator, so that's cool. Sinistcha has, of course, Matcha Gatcha, where, again, you have the chance to burn, which is nice, and then at the same time, any damage you do, you get to recover right back. And then at the same time, you also have access to something like Life 2, where you not only can you heal yourself, but you can also heal your ally next to you, right? So there's some good variants here. And then at the same time, another hidden tech for some healing is the Strength Sap, where you get to neuter a physical attacker and then just heal yourself based on their attack stat, right? And this is really pretty solid to like Dondozo stuff, because again, the order up stuff, you get to neutralize that a little bit by spamming Strength Sap, healing yourself, and then alternating between like Matcha Gatcha to try and burn the Dozo, and then you just win, right? Because then he can't really break you. You're just always healing yourself back up, and he's withering slowly down with stuff like this, right? So it's very comparable. So, you have to consider, okay, if I have an Amoongus here, does the Sinistcha fit my squad? If you look at the graphic of my stream, you can see that Sand team over there with Amoongus. You can easily fit in a Sinistcha in that sense, because there is a Como there, and then you can heal that. And then you can even heal the Volcarona, which also likes to go for setup plays, stuff like, Quiver Dance and that kind of stuff. So Sinistcha can also fit on a team like that, and at the same time you can protect the T-Tar and the Excadrill, from water attacks, from grass attacks at the same time. It has a role there. It's just up to you, to decide. Okay, I think Sinistcha is a little bit better than Amoongus, for my particular team. Okay, but that being said, what I want to show you now is just, again, look at the tournament results. Let's see what people have used with Sinistcha, and then let's build 2 squads with it. All right, so again, here's the Lab Mouse website. Again, we're filtering from the start of August up until now, and you can see, again, it's very clear where people have been using Sinistcha, right? Like, again, it's all about the rain stuff with Arkeladin, and even the Annihilape Maushold stuff. Sometimes they have rain, sometimes they don't. It just depends. But let's look at this one from Sinky over here. We saw this in that 400 plus person tournament a couple weeks ago, for the $1,000 prize. But look at this: Maushold, Annihilape, Pelipper, Arkeladin. Then you have the Sinistcha over here, and then here's Incineroar. You could easily have Amoongus over here, right? It just fits either way. But the whole idea now with Sinistcha, you have access to Trick Room Air, and the Annihilape and Arkeladin are just 2 Pokemon that are relatively mid-tiers in terms of the speed tier, and then you can just have the Trick Room available to you. There is no Tailwind on this Pelipper here, so you have to consider that. But it also works on something like this, right? So I like this a lot. You can top off the Arkeladin, you can top off the Annihilape. Once it's going for like all these bulk up stuff. Maybe it takes damage in route to that setup. You switch into Sinistcha, and now you heal the Annihilape right back, almost to full, depending on how much the Annihilape has been chipped, for example. So it works there. Then, again, look at this, Maushold, Pelipper, Arkeladin there. So no Annihilape there. Even this one here from Alt Kyle, he's got the Hydreigon over here. Sinistcha also pretty good. Redirect the fighting type attacks, away from the Hydreigon. You're a ghost type. It gets whiffed. Redirect, the fairy stuff, away from both the Annihilape and the Hydreigon. And at the same time, you can even whiff away the fighting and the grass moves, with the Sinistcha here. So there's some good ideas here. Just from the Lab Mouse page here, which is a great resource. You could even do stuff with Ursaluna, right, over here. So again, something like this, you're taking Flame Orb chip damage every turn. Your health is slowly withering down. You can, swap in the Sinistcha and just heal this thing right back up. And then you're just totally fine from there, right? So something like that is another idea that you can use with Sinistcha. And then you can do this stuff with screens. Look at this stuff from Chinchan over here. 261 results here. Again, Maushold, Annihilape. And then you have Grimmsnarl screens. Okay, so again, going relatively bulky here, especially with Arcanine. So much recoil from Flare Blitz, right? And then the Sinistcha can help you out there by just healing all that recoil back up there, right? So that's another idea that you can consider. Another one you can consider here, look at this from Pakala Bear, is the Snorlax idea. This is the Belly Drum set. Remember when Wolfglick ran both Kamo and Snorlax? We can recreate that in another video, but this is, again, another concept where something goes for Belly Drum, chips away half its health, and then Sinistcha can come in and heal it back up. You might even see something like this with Azumarill, right? You can totally see that with the Azumarill, just going for like huge power, of course, and then it's the Belly Drum with the Citrus Berry set. Or you can even just revolve around this, and then you can have Incineroar for your Intimidate support, and then you have your Fire, Water, Grass core, right? And it just starts like this. And then after that, you can just do like Dragon Fairy Steel stuff. You can do Hydreigon over here. You can do another Steel type. You can do like King Gambit or Goldango, for example. But it just works, right? Something like this is very doable with Sinistcha, right? Again, just all about positioning it correctly. So that's some idea that you can do. But overall, right now, in terms of trying to use it and make it work, Maushold, Annihilape, Arkeladin, and Pelipper, those are your best chances. We can give you 2 squads where we have the rain mode, and then we also have the Maushold, Annihilape stuff, right? So let's go back into the Showdown Team Builder and let's build some squads. All right, so for this variant, we'll do one without Maushold, Annihilape. We'll just focus on the rain stuff. So here we go. We'll have Sinistcha, we'll have the Pelipper, Arkeladin stuff, okay? And at the same time, we'll have Incineroar, okay? Here is the core of the squad, right? We have this Fire, Water, Grass core. with the Incin, the Pelipper, and the Sinistcha, which normally could be an Amoongus, right? So you can see how it fulfills that role here. But basically, now from here, where do you want to go? How about let's add, we have Trick Room here, so why don't we add a Trick Room mode? And we'll still add an aggressive water type, to go with the Archeladon Pelipper core here. So we'll still go with something like Basculegion, right? Where, again, you can have a late game cleaner with it. It's, again, your physical sweeper. Here's your special sweeper. And then how about something that can do well under Trick Room at the same time and still put pressure in maybe the mirror matchup, right? How about the Blood Moon Ursaluna here? Look, we've got Trick Room. We might as well try and set it up. So, you can always do like Trick Room and then maybe even position with something like Parting Shot and then grab in the Ursaluna. But you can also go with this mode here. I think it works relatively well on something like this. We have seen some Ursalunas on, these Archeladon Pelipper teams. It makes a lot of sense. So I think something like this is very, very doable. And you can kind of see how this works, right? Where, like, if the Amoongus was here, then the Ursaluna somewhat doesn't really work out because, you want that Trick Room on your squad, but you don't have it with an Amoongus. But the Sinistcha can give you that. And then all of a sudden, the Ursaluna looks much better on a team like this, right? So I like this in terms of a 6. So we can build this as our first team. And then in the second squad, we can add the Maushold Annihilape stuff. And then I'll preview a little bit about the Como Snorlax idea, as advertised and as done before by Mr. Wolfclick. So let's go back and, look at Pelipper here. Again, is do some standard stuff. Let's go Drizzle, of course, set the rain. Focus Sash here. All right, let's just go Hurricane. We'll go Weather Ball. We'll go Tailwind. And then we'll go Protect here. Okay, and again, Wide Guard is an option here. So, if you want to give up Tailwind or Protect here for the Wide Guard, that is very much doable. You can either do Ghost Terra here, or you can also do Stellar Terra here at the same time. Either way, they all work depending on you as a player. But we've always done Ghost Terra on the Pelipper, so for now, I want to change things up a bit. Let's just go Stellar Pelipper at the very least. Assault Vest Archeladon, pretty standard. We're not changing anything too much here. Now, you can go the Grass Terra here, okay? I think it works very, very well as normal, right? But again, I want to show a little bit of variance. You can definitely also do Terra Fairy here. And this is great into the mirror matchup, right? If things want to click Draco Meteor, or if things want to go Body Press, or click a fighting move into Archeladon, imagine Annihilate, Drain Punch, or something else, maybe clicking Close Combat or for whatever. You can go the Terra Fairy option and make them with the fighting and the dragon move altogether. So Terra Fairy is also an idea. You can also consider Terra Bug Archeladon, which has seen some play before, right? Again, you resist, the ground weakness and even the fighting weakness. So you can even do Bug at the same time. But at the end of the day, I'll just go Fairy for now. But again, feel free to experiment with the Terra as you so please. But the 4 moves are going to be pretty standard. You have Electro Shot, Draco Meteor, Flash Cannon, and then Body Press, of course, after you get chipped, from the physical standpoint. Sinistcha, we've already got here. I like, it depends. You could go like Terra Dark here so you don't get taunted. I'm going to go Mental Herb. And then, so because a lot of this is, you don't want to get taunted because then a lot of your moves is not going to work. So having that Mental Herb security is going to be good. You can also do Rocky Helmet or Citrus Berry here on the Sinistcha. I think all those items are very good. But I'll just go Terra Water here for now. I think that's still okay and pretty solid at the same time. Just all things considered. Good defensive Terra is always water, right? Then the Incin, again, I'll just go Safety Goggles here. Get away from the Amoongus stuff. You can always put Citrus Berry on this thing at the same time. I will, of course, change this to Intimidate. Let's go Ghost Terra at the same time with the fighting move altogether. Let's go Fake Out, Knock Off, Will-O-Wisp, and Parting Shot. Pretty standard set here that you can do with the Incin. And then, of course, Basculegion. I leave it up to you. But I'm a Life Orb kind of guy rather than the Choice Band. But we're going to go Life Orb on this Ursaluna, right? Now, that being said, if you put the Life Orb here, I think you can also just do like Silscarf, Ursaluna, if you want to go that direction. So this way you don't take recoil. That's okay. But, I always want a boosted Earth Power. So at the end of the day, I still want Life Orb here. And if you're more than comfortable with the Choice Band here, feel free to go for it. But other than that, I'm just going to go Mystic Water. And then just have the Life Orb boost that way and then no recoil on my Basculegion. Up to you as the player in terms of the items and if you like Band or if you like no recoil with the Scarf. I showed you the ideas. Up to you, whichever one you prefer. Right? No advantages well, I shouldn't say no advantages, but just it's all a personal preference kind of thing. Anyway, from here, standard set, we have the Mystic Water, so that means we're going Protect here, and then it's just Wave Crash, Last Respects, your two stab moves, one priority move, and Aqua Jet, and then Terra Water is an option here. You can also go Grass here to get around the the Rillaboom weakness, but I think this is also okay. All right, Ursaluna, again, Terra Normal, just big nukes with the Hyper Voice, big nukes with the Blood Moon. And then, of course, you have the Life Orb boosted Earth Power. So I think that just works out relatively well. Hyper Voice instead of Hyper... I did it again. Oh, no, I did it right this time. Again, Hyper Voice. I thought I put Hyper Beam as a second time. So this is it. This is the OTS. All right, so now what we can do, we can start setting some EV spreads here. So let's go Timid. Okay. I always just like a faster Pelipper here for me. Okay. Then the Arkeladon. So I'll show you two builds. And again, just up to you how you want to decide to do yours. But I'll show you the standard one first, without taking into account some damage calcs. But I'll go Modest, of course. And I will go 116. Okay. Hitting the second bump in the special attack. And this is where I make my announcement, of course, every time we do team building. If you're trying to get better at the game and if you're a beginner and trying to learn how to create EV spreads for Pokemon, especially in VGC, and if you don't know what EV bumps are, make sure you comment below asking what are EV bumps. I will reply to you and I will respond to you with an explanation. So this way you understand how we create EV spreads on this channel and understand the reasoning and the logic besides going the typical 252-252 format, which we always hate unless we have a focus sash, for example. All right, so comment what are EV bumps and we will explain it to you, so this way you understand what EVing or what optimizing EVing is all about here. Anyway, I'm gonna go 116 investment here. Let's go 50. Wait, did we have Tailwind here? We do. All right, so how about this? Let's go about this much. Let's go 112 here. Again, you only need about 107 under Tailwind to outspeed Dragapult, so you can definitely just stop right there. But I know some other Arkeladons are going to be going for that, so you want to do some speed creeping in that regard. So I just want to go to 112. All right, I think that's always safe. I always like to do something like this where imagine the speed tier that everybody wants to outspeed and then just add +5, just to be a little bit more safe. So in this case, I go 112 here, but it still works out. This is another one of those VGC benchmark numbers where under +1, you outspeed base 100s. But at the same time, it's still pretty good just in case things want to go 109 or 110. So I go 112. So this way I can almost ensure that I'll have a little bit more of a faster Arkeladon in this sense. All right, from here, I'm going to go 212 HP. Why? Because I'm hitting this 192 number, which is another one of those HP benchmark numbers for Rillaboom's Grassy Terrain Recovery. Again, it's a factor of 16. It's optimized so this way you get whole number recovery rather than decimals, right? Because if it's a decimal, when you divide by 16, it rounds down. I don't want to recover less HP. I want to recover the most HP possible. So because of that, we want that factor of 16. So I always try to go for it if I can. And 90 HP, this is one of those HPs where yeah, I can definitely do it. So 192 investment here. 192 stat, I should say, is correct. After that, look, body press, it's always +1, times 1.5 if I get hit. So I want a nice solid even number here. I could do it like this, but again, that's an odd number. That'll make it round down for my defensive stat. I don't want that. Let's go 1 point higher. And now I have a nice solid even number for that. And then just literally dump the rest into special defense. And look how it works out. Now our special defense is in triple digits, a solid 100, which is great in terms of my special defense bulk. So this is one way to consider your EV spread for your Arkeladon. And, it's just something quick and easy just to jumpstart your testing on ladder, right? Now, that being said, if you find that you want to calc for something like Blood Moon, Ursaluna, Earth Power, right? Because this will still kill you, okay? It is a roll, but it's a favorable roll for them. So if you want to ensure it, now I'll show you something different where I'll cut my attack a little bit. I'll go about this much. I'll go to 36 here. So I'll go down one bump, okay? 80 EVs I'll sacrifice. And again, you know, the whole idea is, look, I'm going for electro shots. I'm gonna ramp up my damage anyway. So I'd rather stay alive than risk dying and not being able to do any damage at all, right? That's the whole concept that I feel. So let's guarantee this, right? So let's take away that and let's see how much investment that we need in special defense. So one way to look at that is you have to go into the Pokemon damage calculator. So we'll just simply do that, okay? And you know, again, we'll plug in our Arkeladin here. All right, well, and if you don't have any EVs on it, you can just go like blank set here. Let's go 50, level 50, of course. And then at the same time, let's put in the Blood Moon Ursaluna. Okay, we'll just go like, I don't know, one of these sets here. Let's go Trick Room Sweeper, right? Okay, let's just go 252 here because we want to count for the hardest hitting Blood Moon possible. That special defense doesn't matter. All right, and it is life orb. So look at this, right? Without anything, without any investments, the Blood Moon can almost kill 2 Arkeladins, right? Now let's put the Assault Vest here, so this way we can change this calc. And now it's getting a little bit better, but still not so great. So now let's add the 212 HP, and now all of a sudden it looks very doable, right? Because now we can start investing in our special defense. So let's see how much we need. So I'm gonna keep going up until I can start getting this Earth Power damage calc down. You see it needs a lot of investment, right? Which is kind of crazy when you think about it. So let's see how much I need. This is already a lot, but we're getting closer. I think I want to just stop at the 6.5 mark. This is it, right? 6.3, I should say. So I can go a little bit more and ensure that I can survive, but I think 6.3% is always safe. You know, for me, you know, if this is like saying I have a 94% chance to win the lottery, I'm gonna take those chances. All right. So and it's a nice solid even number at the same time. So I can always go for that. So, you know, I'm a little short now, but that's okay because now I can sacrifice a little bit of speed. All right, and now I can probably go for that mark there. So let me take away some speed here. What was it? It was 212, right? So I've got it, and now I can dump the rest here into speed if I so choose. I can always, you know, again, 107 was what I really needed for outspeeding Dragapult there under the Tailwind. So you know, at this point, these 24 EVs are like extra. So you can dump them into something like defense like this. You could just do that, right? And get this nice solid even number and then put the last point in speed. You can definitely do that and, you know, go for some speed creeping. But if you're fine with this defense, then you can just dump the rest here into your speed stat. And then you can still speed creep that benchmark for Dragapult, right? Under Tailwind. So you can definitely do something like this. So I leave it up to you how you guys want to do your Arkeladin. But at least I showed you a damage calc worth showing, you know, for Arkeladin. So if you learned nothing from this video, at least use this EV spread if you want to try something else different from your Arkeladin. All right, but we'll actually use this for the second build here. So let's go back to the first build. Let's go back to 116 investment. All right, you know, and then at the same time, let's go right here and then just put the rest here into speed. Okay, but at least I showed you a couple of EV spreads that you could do with Arkeladin there, right? All right, the Sinistcha. So this one, you know, the main thing is also surviving another key attack. And one thing I want to pay attention to is, again, another Blood Moon or Ursaluna attack. How about the Blood Moon? I think that's going to be very devastating. So, you know, at the same time, I will go Sassy Nature. Let's see how much this can give me. We'll do 0 speed, of course. And let me go to 176 first. Again, this is one of those factors of 16, just like 192 is. I can't reach 192, obviously, but I can reach 176 almost. So let's see how much speed def I need to survive the Blood Moon calc. So I'll change their Arkeladin here. Let's go to Sinistcha, and we'll go blank set here. Let's go 236 HP. Let's go Sassy Nature, of course. Where is that thing? All right. Yeah, this is good. So see how Blood Moon just annihilates me? Like if you were to do this, I've said this before. If you were to do like 252, 252 like this, you know, it's almost like I don't have a Sinistcha because the Blood Moon just nukes me, right? And you might say, well, how many Blood Moon Ursalunas are in the format? A lot. This thing is top 5 usage right now. Okay, I don't want to die to this. I want to have some survivability. So this is why you need to re-optimize your EVs and consider the bulk that you want on the Sinistcha, right? So I'm going to make this thing super bulky. It's just meant to be supportive at the end of the day, just like Amoongus. I don't need special attack. So let's see. And again, Sassy Nature is good. So let's see how much investment I need for this Blood Moon damage calc. Where, again, it's another one where I'm going to need a lot of investment, but it's investment worth take into account for, I meant 176 here, 236, there we go. So let's see, I'm getting close. Let's see if I can ensure it. All right, so I've already have it here with 228, but look at this. I'm one short of the bump. Let's go to the bump, and now it's at 99%, okay? So, you know, that's huge because, again, that's something that like always triggers me. Like, I could have stopped here, but look at this, 141. You're 1 EV short from the bump. Look at this. Let's go 1 point more. Beep, right there. 143. You skipped 142. Why? Because that's a bump, all right? And the rule is every 80 EVs will get you to the next bump. Right, so previously it was at 156, right over here. You see how you go from 130 to 132, you skip the 131 mark. And then before that, it's 76, okay? Here's the first bump here, 119 to 121, right? You see that? So those are the 3 bumps there for Sinistcha in the natured stat. I can't stress that enough. It's only in the natured stat that you see the EV bump there. But anyway, let's go here, 236. All right, and now I've got 36 EVs left to play with. I don't need special attack. I just want to dump the rest here into defense, and that's really all I need from the Sinistcha in this sense, okay? So, we've got the bulky Sinistcha. We can survive Blood Moon. How does this match up with King Gambit? So, I still have some investment here, you know, with 36. I want to check against King Gambit, because that's another one that's also going to be, like, pretty popular moving forward. So, let's just go, like, I'll just pick anyone here, too. But, all right, so how about this? 190 Adamant, 196 Assault Vest, King Gambit. I can live the Kowtow Cleave, which is huge with this investment. That's pretty good. Now, obviously, if they just go Adamant 252, you know, it's still a roll, 12.5%, but at the end of the day, a favorable roll, right? So I like this. This is pretty good. Again, Adamant with the Assault Vest. Now, more commonly, they do have the black glasses, and that's something to be aware of. Now the Kowtow Cleave will kill you, okay? But at least you still survive Sucker Punch, so that's okay at the end of the day. So, you know, I can't EV for everything, so I kind of have to pick a calc between either, like, you know, live the King Gambit or live Blood Moon or Saluna. Right now, Blood Moon at number 5 usage, King Gambit, I think it's at 10th or 11th. Either way, it's still a popular option, but I'm going to pick the more popular one to calc for. Let's go with the Sinistcha, living the Blood Moon calc, and then I'll sell it for that, okay? Incineroar here, again, I'm just going to go careful nature here. And the whole idea with this is I'm going to max this HP, and I would stop here at the benchmark, but I want to live Pelipper, Weather Ball, so I'm going to go a little bit more here, 196, and this will do that. I'm going to go 36 speed investment here, so this way under Tailwind, I outspeed base 100s, put 1 point in the attack stat, and then just dump the remaining 20 EVs into defense like this. All right, this is our latest Incineroar spread. Basque Legion, okay, again, kind of like Arkeladon, I just want the Dragapult number. So let's go like 132 here. But also at the same time, well, actually, here's the Dragapult number, 107. How about outspeeding another Blood Moon Ursulin? Some of them are on Trick Room, so I want to go 115 here. Let's outspeed them at the same time, you know, naturally, right? So that's good. And then dump the rest here into Adamant Nature, of course, 252. Get the most bang for your buck with this 112 stat. It's not super great, so, you know, getting this as high as possible is going to be appreciated. And then from here, how about this? Let's go, again, 208. Another one of those grassy terrain recovery numbers. And then literally you can just dump the rest here into physical defense like that. All right, so some bulk on the Basque Legion, a little bit of optimization with the HP, but, you know, I have the speed tier that I want. Dump the rest into attack. Everything else, you know, just go for optimization with the HP a little bit and a tiny bit in defense at the end of the day. All right, so that's our formula. We'll do a whole video again on how to optimize complex EV spreads, right? We'll do that again. We've done that before on the channel. If you want to scroll back about a year, all right, so I will do that again for an updated version for regulationH. I'll give you the template, and then you can follow the template and, you know, create EV spreads like this for your Mons that we've been doing, you know, throughout the whole month of August. Let's go Quiet Nature here on Ursaluna. Again, under Trick Room. Could be good. I understand there is Tailwind here, so, you know, in that sense, sure, why not? But let's just go here, 209, max special attack, dump the rest here in special defense. And again, if you're under the impression, look, you want to play this under Tailwind, you can definitely do that. I think you can just go Timid 252, 252 and have that option for you. I think that works as well, but I want to play this a little bit under Trick Room, so I'm going to go with a quiet, slower set. And that's, you know, how I came up with this. All right. But anyway, that's the team. Okay, so this is version 1 of the squad. You know, some cool sets here. Obviously, the team looks like it makes sense. All right, so let's test it out in some battles, and then I'll show you version number 2 with the Annihilape, of course. All right, so we're playing a Blood Moon Farigiraf, almost a mirror matchup, right? A little bit, actually nowhere close to a mirror. It's Sun, Blood Moon, Trick Room stuff. So he's got Blood Moon, Ursaluna, Farigiraf with Kingambit and Torkoal. And then he's got Dragonite and Rillaboom there. I'm not sure about that, but anyway, he has it. So obviously the Pelipper is important here and, you know, changing weather. But, you know, the Arkeladon matchup, you got a lot of body press targets here. You can body press the Gambit, you can body press the Blood Moon. The Assault Vest with the damage calc would have came in handy here, but we'll show you how that turns out. And then Rillaboom does pressure the Basculegion, but at the same time, Basculegion does so much damage in the late game. It's quite good. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave Arkeladon and Basculegion with Pelipper in the back. So this way I can swap it into either slot and see what my opponent wants to lead, and then I'll choose which slot to switch it to. He's going to go Torkoal here, which is totally fine. I'm going to just protect Arkeladon this turn. I did Terra Fairy just in case he would do, like, you know, some outrage stuff, just in case he was faster than me, but he was not. And again, we nuked the Dragonite immediately. So Dragonite gone, Rillaboom here. I'm going to repivot into Pelipper here, change the weather into it, and now I have, you know, Electro Shot going for me to raise this special attack back up. Good read there from the Rillaboom, trying to go for the Windhammer. This is why Sash is good. We nuke the Torkoal. Eruption hits, does no damage to Arkeladon, does remove the Pelipper. So he can have weather control if he wants, but I do have my defense boost. So, you know, that's always a plus for me, and I still have Electro Shot damage. Now I can go into Sinistcha, all right, and now he has to go into Kingambit. That's fine by me. He clicks Woodhammer, giving me more defense, okay? And now, again, I'm back to neutral. I do Electro Shot into the Torkoal slot. Kingambit definitely within range of the, you know, the body press here. And we get to intimidate the Rillaboom, you know, with that Strength Sap, so that's cool. Goes back to Torkoal, that's fine. And we just body press the Kingambit and, you know, just goodbye. He doesn't get a chance to do anything. And, you know, we kept pinning that slot, so the Torkoal does take some damage. I probably could have even went for Matcha Gatcha here. And again, this does no damage to Sinistcha at the end of the day. You know, just remove the Rillaboom, or at least try to. And then again, Strength Sap, getting all my health back. And then Torkoal clicking Eruption does kill the Sinistcha, which is fine. But again, Arkeladon now is getting all these defense boosts. And again, I still have the Cleaner in the back here with the Basculegion. It's all about, you know, getting rid of the Rillaboom first. So I'm just going to protect first. And he goes for Grassy Glide. I expect that, of course, but it's just all about body press here. Get rid of the Rillaboom. Woodhammer would not have killed me even if he went first. Does remove the Arkeladon. That's okay. But now, look at this. Again, we have Last Respects, and the Torkoal just goes 9-9. So it's all about preserving the win con by removing the threat first. Remove the Rillaboom first, then Basculegion can do the job that it needs to do in the end game, which is exactly what we did. Okay, so there's the Snorlax idea with Sinistcha. We've seen this before. Again, and it works, right? So if you want to do like Sinistcha Snorlax stuff, you can definitely do it. It has a way, or at least something in the meta for it. But at the end of the day, listen, I see there's a Hisuian Zoroark there. He might just bring that because, again, I do have a Basculegion, and at the same time, it does look decent, but it's not, you know, everything. I'm worried about his other options here. So it's Clefable, Snorlax, that's fine. Again, Pelipper, Arkeladon, I want to start aggressive here. So he goes Terra Poison, Clefable, kind of funny, all right? But there's the Hyper Voice, that's the Zoroark immediately. That's not a Snorlax, so thank you for the defense boost. All right, we nuke the Clefable. You know, it's not Clefairy, and now we just take it out with the Flash Cannon. All right, so goodbye, Clefable. And again, that's a Zoroark, so we're not going to necessarily hit that right now. There's the Instant, of course. I just want to protect Pelipper first. He fakes out the Arkeladon. Thank you for another defense boost. And it's just Shadow Ball into the Pelipper. Of course, you know, it gets whiffed. So that's cool. Now we can pretty much KO the Instant if we want. Pelipper does go down. But again, I'm racking up all these, you know, defense boosts. So Goodnight Instant. And now he's in trouble because now we still have other options in the back. And he pretty much just forfeits. That means, again, you know, there's not much he can do. There's a Snorlax in the back that's going to get smacked by Body Press. And the Zoroark, you know, there's no hope for him. We have the Basculegion in the back that can just clean him. So, you know, at the end of the day, he just says, all right, I'm out. All right, this is a Side Spam Trick Room team. A little bit of an interesting one. I understand the Indeedee Armor Rouge and, the Torkoal Lilligant combination, but then we have Gastrodon and the Dragapult there. So I don't know about those two choices, but either way, something like Pelipper is going to be a little bit important here, obviously, to change the weather. This is a game where Blood Moon or Ursaluna can come, right? It all just really depends on the matchup. But again, this is one of those matchups where you really like the Blood Moon because, again, they want to go for Trick Room. Everything besides the Torkoal, the Blood Moon can outspeed. Of course, the Gastrodon, yes, but I don't think Gastrodon would want to come into something like this. But then again, you never know because, again, it soaks up Electro Shots, right? But at the same time, we can hit the Dragapult, even, outside of Trick Room, it doesn't really matter. But we can even lead with it just to make them think, okay, wait, if I click Trick Room, then what happens after that? So I kind of want to play that route and then, just have the Torkoal on switching for the Torkoal to reduce the damage they can put out, right? And by I mean the Pelipper. So he's going into the Armor Rouge stuff. I want to go instant Blood Moon here. Again, Dark type is good against Side Spam. It's very important because, again, you don't take any damage from Expanding Force. There's a Terra Fairy here. So I kind of wanted to pressure the Armor Rouge here, but he goes for the smart play and clicks Protect. And then the Indeedee is the one clicking Trick Room here. Terra Fairy, of course, just to ensure, I would imagine that you don't get died to the knockoff there. So good play from our opponent. We're a little bit behind now. He goes into the Torkoal. That's a mistake because I had no problem spamming Hyper Voice like this, and we pretty much almost remove everything that he's got here. The Indeedee does survive, obviously, but, now I can go into Pelipper just in case he wants to go for Heat Wave or some kind of, fire move altogether. It's actually just Weather Ball, so this is Weather Ball Rain, but that's okay because, again, we have some good special defense on our Ursaluna, and we just remove the biggest Trick Room threat that he has. Now he's got Dragapult, and now he's got Armor Rouge. Now we're the fastest thing in Trick Room, right? So I want to just preserve, my turns here. I thought the Dragapult might protect here. It did not, so... but that's okay because my Pelipper's faster than it anyway, so I just wanted to remove the Armor Rouge and just get this 1v1 scenario where I have a chance to outspeed the Dragapult. And now I do, right? So one more turn of Trick Room, and now I can just blast this thing, with the Blood Moon. Yeah, Terra was already used up, and that's pretty much all she wrote. So Blood Moon, very important in this kind of matchup, as was the Incineroar at the end of the day. And then Pelipper, of course, just able to change the Torkoal weather. I would imagine, again, that turn where our opponent switched into the Torkoal hard switch, that was way too risky. He got punished for it. Rather just let the Indeedee die, get the Torkoal in for free, and make me work, where I have to, position my Pelipper a little bit better and, use my Incineroar a little bit, but the hard switch just pretty much just cost our opponent there, and Blood Moon was able to just do way too much to him. Okay, so now we'll show you the Sinistcha fitting in on the Maushold Annihilape core as well. So again, filling that Amoongus role, but of course doing other things that Amoongus can't do, and then of course you still have the Incineroar here to give you that Fire Water Grass core at the same time. So this Sinistcha set, it's almost the same. The only difference here is that we have Matcha Gatcha Life Dew Trick Room Rage Powder. So no Strength Sap available here. But that being said, at the same time, I wanted to show you Rocky Helmet and Terra type Dark. Because again, it's also useful against Prankster Dark type users that want to go for Taunt. So imagine Whimsicott clicking Taunt, right? Or even Grimmsnarl at the same time. So this will help you in that regard. And then you get the chip damage, from the Rocky Helmet, right? So that's also useful. So I'm showing you different variances in the set here. The Arkeladon, I'll show you that other set that we'll also do. Now here, you can also go Wide Guard, but again, I still like her, Tailwind here. But if you like Wide Guard at the same time, it's still like totally fine. This Pelipper set will more or less be the same. The 252 Sash set, so we'll just copy paste that over here and leave it be. The Arkeladon, okay, at the same time, I will show you that previous spread that I went over with where you get to survive the Blood Moon calc. So here's that investment there. And then just having that first bump there, but an even number for the, the Electroshot boost. And then here, just have a little even number here with the defense for the body press, +1 stamina boost. And then at the same time here, a tiny bit of speed, a little bit slower, but that's still fine because again, we still achieve the speed tier that we want under Tailwind to outspeed a Dragapult there. But other than that, same stuff, Electroshot, Draco Meteor, Flash Cannon, and Body Press. Okay, we still have this going for you. And then, here's our Sinistcha set. Now the Maushold, also more or less the same stuff here, you know, that we've used before. Safety goggles, redirect Amoongus stuff. It's going to be beat up. It's going to be follow me. It's going to be taunt and then protect. Taunt is really good. How did taunt become tack and cutter? All right, I must have, you know, did a little typo stuff there. We'll do Terra Ghost to whiff the fighting move against it. Annihilate also. I still like leftovers. Terra Fire again. You know, Talonflames running Will-O-Wisp is not fun, so we'll focus on going for that Terra. And then you get to resist Goldango, make it rain. Drain Punch, Rage Fist, Bulk Up, and then Protect. Right. Then the Instant is still the same Instant set. The only thing I will change is the item here. So because we have the safety goggles on the Maushold, now I can go back to Citrus Berry, Incineroar here, and just do like Fake Out, Knock Off Will-O-Wisp, and Parting Shot at the same time. Same spread here, just different Terra and different item here. Again, showing the variance. But the Maushold set, again, you know, Jolly 252 is all we really need here. Just to, you know, make it super fast. We don't need to hit hard. We don't have Population Bomb here. And then after that, the Annihilate, you know, again, I'm going Adamant Nature here. I'll go 76 investments. Again, just outspeeding Modest Pelipper for that matter. And then we'll go 180 investment here, hitting 208 for leftovers, recovery optimize, right? Along with Rillaboom Grassy Terrain stuff. Then we'll go either, you can also go 36 Adamants, but I wanted a little bit more damage. And then I'll just go, you know, 116, right? Here's the bump, but let's go even number there. 1 point in defense. Again, well, 2 points just for the solid even number. And then dump the rest into special defense. This actually works out because, again, you get to live one Blood Moon from an Ursaluna. So that's also really cool in essence, right? And then you have Friend Guard available too, right? So, you know, if something wants to go for like a Shadow Ball from a Goldango, you can also just live that, you know, if you just take a look at the damage calcs there, right? Now, we can show you that, you know, just by going into the damage calculator. So I'll go Annihilate here. Let's just go like a blank set here. I think I already have my leftover set here. All right, so this one was my older one, but I can still like at least preview this one here. All right, so 124 investment. So let's go into Blood Moon or Saluna, of course. Let's just go with the Terran Sweeper. So this is the timid one, right? And then if we just go modest, of course, you know, whether it be modest or quiet, we live this, right? So that's the good part about this investment. You don't even need wide guard. I'm sorry, friend guard here. So that's nice. Then if we show you Goldango Shadow Ball stuff, you know, we could even go like the timid choice spec stuff or even modest choice spec. Let's go Life Orb here. Let's go still 252 Life Orb. Shadow Ball still KOs here. But again, if you have the friend guard available to you, it does not. So that's still good. Modest 252, you get to live that decently. And if this was the choice specs, of course, you also still live that as well. You know, you do need friend guard, of course. Again, this is modest 252 choice specs. So no nasty plot here, obviously, because it is choice specs. So just consider that. Now, if this was like timid, okay, with like leftover set, and if this was like +2, okay, can we live that? All right, so that's a low roll chance for us, right? So he has a good chance to KO us if this was timid +2, even with the friend guard. Obviously, you know, Goldango +2 Shadow Ball, single target. It's not fun, obviously, but at least we understand the calc there. So it's something that we can be aware of when the time comes, right? And then, of course, we said the instant spread is the same. So this is version 2 of the team. You know, and again, it's pretty solid, pretty consistent for everything we want to do with it. So, you know, give this one a go. But, you know, let's show you in a couple battles just to see how it plays. And then we'll talk a little bit more about the combo idea. Okay, so this guy has the Murkrow Tailwind stuff with the Hisuian Typhlosion Eruption shenanigans. So something like this is where I really want to bring the Maushold Annihilape, you know, with the Terra Fire, so I can survive and, you know, just potentially try and KO that thing. It's very aggressive, so, you know, I have to pay attention to that. Incineroar also a key component here. Intimidate the Ursaluna and threaten the Goldango with the Throat Chop. And then Sinistcha, of course, just for a little bit more extra healing and maybe even the Trick Room idea if the time comes, if I have to go for it, right? So Murkrow here comes out, but no Typhlosion. It is Goldango here. That's fine, Maushold. And then we go into the Annihilate here. So what I want to do, simply Terra Fire here. I want to soak up that Shadow Ball or make it rain, whether he goes for it. And surprisingly, it is a Shadow Ball. What if I just click Follow Me and, you know, just try to Rage Fist your Goldango there, right? So, you know, I take it and that lets me KO it. So I'm very surprised he did that. But now he goes into Ursaluna. He's a fast Ursaluna. I understand that. What I really want to do is just try and taunt the Murkrow here. so it doesn't go for like any prankster shenanigans, you know, whatever it may be, right? So I want to just do that. You know, if it has to click foul play, okay, sure. But what I want to do first is get the Annihilape out of here. Let's go Sinistcha. Let me get some healing from my Maushold. I want him to actually just remove it so I can get the safe switch, you know, into my Annihilape next turn, and then just protect and stall out all this Tailwind. So that's my idea there. All right, so here does come the Annihilape, and again, you know, just go into instant first, you know, just to intimidate the Ursaluna, get some damage reduction, protect the Annihilape, a little bit more recovery. All right, Brave Bird comes out, and again, a little bit more chip. Now, Earthquake, again, good with next to the Murkrow. It's a flying type. We have such good EVs, right? And you know, an instant lives, and a little bit more recovery, obviously. And then it's still taunted, right? So it can't go for Tailwind here. So this is a good chance to, you know, click Bulk Up here. But he does Fake Out anyway. So that's a good swap for his Ferrograph. Maybe he wants to go for the Trick Room idea. But now our Annihilape is +1. This Ursaluna is intimidated. He actually just lets it go down there. So that just benefits me. And then he goes for Hyper Voice. Our instant lives again, right? So all that special defense helping us out here against the Ferrograph. Now we can go into Sinistcha. Now we can go back to full. And now all he has is a Murkrow and a Ferrograph. And that's pretty much it. The Annihilape is in good position here to finish off the game. So, you know, Maushold is really good. You know, again, with the redirection support, so was Sinistcha. But really the work was just stalling out Tailwind. And the taunt was important from the Maushold, stopping the Murkrow stuff, you know, for going for another Tailwind, right? And which allows me to go for essentially a free bulk up. All right, so we're playing against Sand here. This is actually a pretty cool Sand team. I like this a lot. He's got the T-Tar Garchomp stuff. I honestly like Garchomp a little bit more than Excadrill, but Excadrill can give you a speed advantage and does have the steel coverage, which can help you in certain matchups here. He does have the Goldango and Talonflame. Of course, we know that combination. He's got a really solid squad. He's got Dragon Fairy, Steel, Fire, Water, Grass. He has the Decidueye instead of the Amoongus, which is understandable. You know, I just like Amoongus in some scenarios just because of the redirection and spore pressure. But other than that, I like his team. This is something where, like, again, our Keladin looks, you know, pretty solid because we have pressure against the Primarina and the Talonflame there. And then at the same time, we can pressure the Garchomp if we have Draco Meteor, right? And then we can kind of wall out some of the physical attackers that he has there, you know, along with the T-Tar besides the Garchomp. The Decidueye is something we're going to keep in mind of, but again, at the same time, I do like the healing that we're going to get from this Sinistcha at the end of the day, right? So it just all depends on how he wants to use it, and we're also going to bring the Maushold here. I don't necessarily need the Annihilape per se. I think he has enough for it, so I'm going to leave that behind. I'm going to go Maushold or Keladin, see if I can threaten with beat up stuff, but I'm just going to go Pelipper immediately. I wanted to see if I could bait out the T-Tar here, but again, I'm just going Terra Grass because I know he wants to Earthquake, right? He's got a Talonflame there. You know, it's either Earthquake or swap in T-Tar, right? So I keep him honest. I make the mid-ground play. So at least I get to take out a Talonflame, but I actually don't because he sashes it instead of the Covert Cloak Sharp Beak stuff here. Now there's the T-Tar. That's what I thought he would do. So, you know, good play there. Chips my Pelipper quite a bit, but he does give me a defense boost. Right, so the Talonflame avoids harm, but we get to take out the Garchomp for free, right? So, and now I don't have my, you know, special attack boost, but it's okay because I did take out one of his big hitters. That Talonflame will go down to Sand, so I'm almost essentially just going to ignore it. And there's Brave Bird. It's decent chip, but again, gives me more defense, which means I get to survive more Tyranitar attacks. He goes for the Terra Flying, Terra Blast. Maushold helps me survive and hang on there. And that's really good chip from Body Press overall into the Tyranitar, right? Sand Chip is taking a toll, but again, I have the Sinistcha in the back here. So, but I really can't afford to lose it. You know, Goldango does pressure. I wasn't confident with if the Maushold could help me survive. So, you know, I did retreat. I could have even just redirected that. I'm surprised he went for Shadow Ball. I thought it would be Make It Rain, but maybe Make It Rain just doesn't pick up from that range, Assault Vest. I just wasn't sure of the calcs at the time. Anyway, we're going to go into Sinistcha here. The Tailwind is gone, and I know I outspeed that Goldango. So I just want to remove T-Tar first, which is good. And now the Goldango does go for the Nasty Blast. And now he can definitely KOE, right? So all I have to really do is just redirect the Shadow Ball if he does go for it. Make It Rain would have also done something. But again, I know I outspeed. Now, he does hang on and he does remove everything here. But here's the problem. Tailwind is gone and my Maushold beats him anyway. But he was Life Orb chip, right? So yeah, definitely he would have taken me out. But, you know, again, I just had to stall that last turn of Tailwind and let Maushold clean up with Beat Up, right? Because he already used his Terra, and Beat Up definitely picks up Goldengo from that range, either way. All right, so one more game here. So this is like some interesting stuff. All right, so I understand, you know, Murkrow Goldengo stuff. Then he has the Sneasler and the Rillaboom. So, you know, again, trying to activate on Burden. I don't know why there's an Inteleon there or a Cyclizar. So that's the unusual thing that I see on his squad. And he actually leads it. And then I get to find out quickly just exactly what he's trying to do. You know, best of one stuff. So this ends up being the Dragon Cheer crit stuff. So, okay, sure. Again, Draco doesn't take out my Pelipper, so we get to hang on there. He takes it out. Okay, that's fine. So my weather is gone, but I still got all this turns of weather. So Electro Shot, not going to do a whole lot into Inteleon, but more than half, and that's all I really need. And now I can just go into Maushold. I'm going to protect that. I don't want it to die. All right, there's the Dragon Cheer. Snipe Shot does a lot, of course, but thank you, Maushold, for helping us out here. And then, of course, the Assault Vest, right? So I just want to remove the Inteleon here. And then the Cyclizar is, again, at -2. He went for Draco. There's the Rillaboom, so he's going to give me a little bit more recovery, which is nice. I'm going to go Sinistcha here, right? And there is, well, there's the Fake Out. I thought he would do it elsewhere. There's the Shed Tail. That's fine. I knew he would do this. I just had to, you know, break whatever was coming in, which was the Sneasler. It gets a defense boost. That's cool, right? I missed the Draco, so that's unfortunate. And which means the Shed Tail is still intact. But again, I have the Sinistcha to help out my Archeladon here. And I'm still always going to get a little bit more recovery because of that grassy terrain recovery, right? So he gets a little bit chipped from the Rocky Helmet. I get to go for Electro Shot again. Now I break the Shed Tail, okay? So I just have to watch out for the fighting move. So I have to just keep redirecting just in case, right? There's the Dire Claw, so he doesn't even go for the fighting move, right? You know, he figures I got to get rid of the Sinistcha first. Knockoff, but again, more defense for me. And now I get to remove the Sneasler for free, all right? So there's that thing. I thought he might try and switch it out for maybe even something like the Cyclizar and get the Sneasler later on in the end game, but that didn't happen. Maushold comes in. Again, just follow me. Just want to read it, and he in turn misses the Draco, right? So I could have also just protected the Maushold and just click protect. You know, that would have been fine at the end of the day. I could have even went for beat up. Anything would have been fine. You know, I think just, I don't think I needed to redirect there. I think I was totally fine. But again, I didn't have the Assault Vest, right? So I wanted to help myself against the Draco just in case, and even the double up. So, you know, I think Follow Me was still okay in that sense, right? And now we just wall out the Rillaboom. He can't do any damage anymore, right? Because we have too much defense, and Body Press just simply cleans it up, right? Okay, so I did mention in, you know, earlier in the video where you can partner Sinistcha with Como together, and it makes a lot of sense, right? This is something that has been done historically, where again, you're trying to set up with Clanger's Soul, you're cutting your HP, but if you can heal it back with the Sinistcha with Hospitality on switching, and then you can also heal it a little bit more with something like Life Dew, right? So then from there, you know, you also have the redirection support, you know, with Rage Powder, where you can try and click it again for potentially, right? And then at the same time, you can also have Incineroar here for Intimidate support. And sometimes you can just simply lead Como, Incin, get an Intimidate down first, reduce all that physical damage that you might potentially take, and then have Fake Out Pressure, and then set up the Clangor Soul. And then you can switch into Sinistcha out for the Incineroar, right? Or you can simply just protect and Parting Shot into the Sinistcha, you know, in that next turn, right? So I think that's always like a very good combination anytime you can do that. And then from here, you know, think back to like what Mr. Wolfglick did back when he made a Como Sinistcha team. He added the Clefairy here, right? And the Clefairy makes a lot of sense just because, again, you have Friend Guard just like the Maushold does. But not only that, you still have a redirection just like the Maushold, but you also get Heal Pulse. Okay, so more healing for the Como, right? And I think something like this is also an interesting card that you can kind of use and try and use and support the Como here, right? So this will be like in the next video, just like a small preview, just in terms of how you want to use combos. So stay tuned for that. Also, if you look at our graphic below, we also have another combo team down there, right? And it's a combo sand team because, again, it makes a lot of sense. You're not really hurt by the sand, so it's a decent partner for it. So, you know, a lot of people have asked me for this team, so I've been able to give it out. So if you just message me on Discord, I will give you this paste. It works out very well. I like the way it functions. Also, you know, again, if you look at the Amoongus slot, you can easily put in a combo there. I'm sorry, a Sinistcha, and it heals a lot of your options, especially like Volcarona, which also wants to go for setup. So you can even consider something like that. But anyway, we'll leave that for the next video when we spotlight Como. But for now, let's get you back into the pace so this way we can give you some final thoughts on the squads we made with Sinistcha today. Alright, so here's the range stuff with also Maushold Annihilape here. Again, Sinistcha playing the Amoongus role, but also giving the team other types of flexibility in terms of, having Trick Room available to you, having the option to come in and heal yourself, with Hospitality. And then again, you have Life Dew that can really, keep things alive even while it's still on the field. You don't have to necessarily switch it to get any kind of healing. So that's important. And then at the same time, you have the beat up options, with Maushold, Scarlet, and Maushold Annihilape. Lots of flexibility with the squad. Incineroar 2 works out here, just pivot out. You could do Parting Shot into your Sinistcha, right? So just think about that. Lots of, value out of a turn like that, right? You get to weaken the opponent and then you get to heal yourself with the Parting Shot. So I think that's pretty important there. Then if you look at this type of team, almost the same, but it just plays a little bit differently, but based on the options there. So instead of the Maushold Annihilape core, we'll go with the cleaner with Basculegion in the back, and then at the same time we have Ursaluna here. And Sinistcha can give you the Trick Room that you need to enable the Blood Moon Ursaluna if you can get it in position, right? So you can always imagine if you have Sinistcha and Incineroar out on the field, you can do like Trick Room and then Parting Shot into the Blood Moon Ursaluna, and then from there, it's poised to sweep. And then you always have endgame potential, with Basculegion, along with maybe even Scarlet and Pelipper stuff. You always have the rain mode if you ever want to go with it. So that is an option in either way. But I think both teams are very solid with Sinistcha if you really wanted to try and use it. But again, stay tuned for our next video where we can preview it with Como. And speaking of Como, again, if you look at the graphic down below, we have a Como Sand team that's working out very, very well. A lot of people have been asking me about the pace for this. And I'll give it to you. You just have to message me on Discord. It's a very, very fun team. It's very solid also. And I will say this in the next video if you made it this far. You see that Amoongus there? You can usually put in a Sinistcha, okay? So we'll talk about that in our Como video. But again, that's it. So if you're interested, again, in regulationH team building, regulationG is done. So, now most people will focus completely on regulationH, and most people are already having a lot more fun with it than G. Understandable, of course. You get to use some bonds that are fun, not necessarily legendaries and restricteds. But again, back to the point, if you need help building a squad and you're not sure what kind of direction you want to take it, feel free to sign up for coaching on the channel. Tier 3 sub gets you a one-on-one Discord call with me. We get to hash out and build out a team from scratch based on how you want it, whether it be for an upcoming local, whether it be for the Baltimore regionals coming up, or just something for ladder. If you're just trying to learn and play and have fun, we got you covered there. So look in the video description, join the channel, click the link, tier 3 sub, we'll get you that meeting with me. And then at the same time, if you look in the pinned comments section, it's the same link. You could join with that tier 3 sub. And also you can join the Discord. Joining the Discord is free. We're almost there at 1,000 members, so it's pretty cool. And then at the same time, you could message me. That doesn't cost anything, of course. Feel free to talk to me. It's totally fine. But other than that, we'll be back with another regulationH video in the next one. Peace out and have a good one.